Thank you very much, Daniel Hutton, and thanks to a Strong Cities Network and Nordic Safe Cities for arranging such a wonderful webinar on a very timely issue. I have a confession to make it clear that I'm not a frontline protester, even not directly involved managing any street protest or social movement. As you know, I'm an anthropology teacher. I'm going to share my observation regarding the issue. My point of discussion will be based on Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, where more than 20 million people live. It's a mega city. In Bangladesh, the largest scale political and democratic activities have been suppressed during the past decade. Beyond the conventional political boundaries, a revival of the street movement directed and controlled by some religiously motivated groups, students, youth, has been followed. There have been many large protests along with some small scale protests, but we are going to discuss four on it. The first protest I'm going to cover is the quota reform movement 2018. Actually, the quota system allocates around 56% of the government positions are assigned under the quota system, leaving only 44% observed for general category students. However, many students, many job seekers considered the quota is unfair. The students demanded that the current 56% quota to be reduced to 10%, and they are demanding merit-based recruitment of vacancies, a standardization of the age limit for job seekers. The nature of protest was very common: rallies, human saying, occupying roads, and there was some mass demonstration across the country, particularly in Dhaka. The second movement of today's discussion is road safety movement, was started entirely by high school and middle school students who are protesting the deaths of two of their classmates in a road accident. Students of different middle school, high schools, and college joined them on the streets and took over the traffic management in protest. And they were demanding highly punishment for reckless driving. They are demanding government should take responsibility for the death of the students, resignation of shaping minister as he was some fishy comments, the construction of a foot overbridge, the implementation of speed breakers, demand for justice and tougher action. At the later part of the protest, the civil society members, the university students were joined and they've started to occupying the streets and put up the barricades. And interestingly, they started to checking the license of drivers and directing the flow of traffic. As we know, it's the job supposed to be done by traffic police, and they were boycotting the classes, and it's also covered by mainstream national and international media that they were able to almost stop the whole country in terms of regular activity. The third movement protest I'm going to cover the anti-France protest. The October 16 of last year, beheading of a high school teacher, Samuel Paty, by an extremist, French President Emmanuel Macron issued a passionate defense of free speech and vowing that the country will not give up cartoons. And in early October of last year, Macron unveiled a plan to defend France's secular values against a trend of Islamic separatism and described Islam as a religion in crisis. Muslims across the world, including Bangladesh, have reacted furiously to Macron's robust defense. But Bangladesh arguably has witnessed the largest and most prolonged protest over the cartoon row that has led by some religiously motivated groups, including Hefazat Islam, Islami Andolon, Khilafat Majlis, and other social and political, religious-based social and political groups. They are demanding boycotting goods from France, severe diplomatic ties with France, no defamation of the Prophet Muhammad. Emmanuel Macron should beg for forgiveness. Now, the nature of protest was they were burning effigy of the French leader, and they spreading hate speech, particularly against, in general, the French ties, Christianities, and actually it was the tool of showing the religious strength over the street, and particularly in Dhaka city. And another religiously motivated street movement or social movement is the anti-sculpture movement. From the last November, Islamic parties have started an agitation against installation of a statue of the country's founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. At Dhaka, police have so far controlled the agitation by dispersing protest rallies by Islamist groups, but the agitation has embarrassed the ruling party, particularly the government, especially because some of the Islamic groups now involved in the agitation have been courted by the ruling party as a counterweight against the opposition. So these are the very short briefing about the four protests. The group were targeted in the quota reform movement. They targeted freedom fighters, ethnic minority and women, transport sector workers, law enforcement agencies, government establishment were targeted by road safety protesters. The anti-France protesters, particularly religious groups, targeted France, Christian and other religious minorities in general, the Western world. The anti-sculpture movement particularly targeted the secular group and the religious minority, particularly Hindus within the country. And I am now going to concluding my speech just how this protest managed by both state and non-state actors. The major action taken by state actors, arresting and torturing the protester, police restriction and repression, legal charge, attacks and threats by non-state actors to intimidation and surveillance, dialogue with protesters was the very common, but sometimes it may not work for a long time. It's a form of oppression. As the allocated time is running out, I'm going to going for a quick conclusion. As you all know, at present, the civil society in Bangladesh is facing unprecedented pressure as civic space is gradually shrinking. The country is witnessing with polarization, hate, intolerance everywhere. Since 2018 particularly, we saw mass street protest and violence in the country's capital city, Dhaka. However, unlike previous decades, this was not the Hartal general strikes often waged by the opposition, nor was its bombing. Instead, the unrest came from student and religiously motivated groups. These movements felt modern, with popular Facebook groups emerging, live streaming on Facebook Live, and the rapid spread of fake news also alarming. To understand the significance of this movement and threat, challenge the pose, however, viewed in the light, these movements can be understood as the contemporary articulation of a fundamentalist or religiously motivated movement, particularly seen when the space for political competition and political practice is very limited. The Bangladesh government, however, has allowed the protest. The growing Islamization of the Bangladesh society as a big contributory factors in this regard. It has become easy to use this kind of issue as a tool for mobilization rather any other political democratic issue. But the challenge is we will face for a long time. If this scenario continues for a long time, as we saw the enchanting narratives by the protester is very much anti-secular and very much polarized during the protest. So if this is continued, that may lead the society towards intolerance, towards hates, communal conflict and extremism. But in particularly for short term, already I have mentioned that the civic space is shrinking, monopolization of the political activities, and there are some political and religious polarization too, and influence of there are some fake news and moral crisis too. So throughout the protest we have witnessing this. So how could we manage this protest? I would suggest the authority to take agenda, particularly city authority, to ensure democratic practice, spread tolerance, practice peace and harmony, maintain law and order. And I would ask to the different stakeholders, particularly civil society organization, local government and national government, law enforcement agencies and other stakeholders should work jointly to effectively manage the protest and strengthening the community resilience. Thank you for the passion.